Hello, all my Be in Demand listeners. This is Laurie-Ann, and this is a special speaker breakthrough session. So if you are a coach, a consultant, or a service-based professional, and you are wondering how to leverage speaking opportunities, keep listening because you're in the right place. This is a live coaching where I am coaching one of my audience members, and this could be you next time, to come on the show, and we will talk about what is holding you back from leveraging speaking opportunities. Stick around to the end, and you will hear how you can book your very own speaker breakthrough session. Angela, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So, Angela, can you just tell me what it is that you do and who specifically you help?
I have three different branches to my name. I'm an intuitive healing massage therapist. I'm an author of uplifting books for children and adults. And then I do motivational coaching.
Who specifically do you work with?
I work with those that don't believe in themselves. People that know that they have a vision. They know that they've got an idea inside of them. It might be a book inside of them waiting to come out, yet they're waiting for everything to be lined up to think it's all going to fall into place, not realizing step by step, everything does fall into place.
Okay. Is it specifically women, professional men, young teens? Can you be more specific?
It depends on which book range I'm working with. If it's the children's books and clearly it's children, I've got a workbook, which is your Stepping into Love workbook. That is specifically for teens through to adults.
Okay.
It's jam-packed full of amazingness. And then with the Stepping into Love, A Journey to Self-Healing book, that's more for adults. So predominantly I work with females. I have had men read this book and say that it's been life-changing for them. So I think even with my children's book, my first one, which I published in 2007, I Love Myself, I sold as many copies of that to adults as I did children.
Okay.
So I know we talk about niching down.
Yes. And the reason why I'm asking you about niching is because I gotta, if I'm going to help you with speaking, I gotta figure out exactly what audience you work with. So let me ask you this question. What do you want to get out of this coaching session?
Okay, for sure. I do want to land on stages speaking. And so if I'm speaking, then predominantly I would say it would be for entrepreneurs, for people that are stuck, that are too stressed, that need to slow down and come back to that heart space.
Okay. So we're going to stick with entrepreneurs because those entrepreneurs may not even know that they're stuck. They might just think that this is just the normal course. This is what it's supposed to be like to build a business. And you and I both know that if you're stuck, you feel like you're running in quicksand. You feel like you're walking in mud.
Absolutely.
And be easier. So, okay, so let's stick with the entrepreneur audience.
Great.
That's very specific.
Got you.
Okay. So the entrepreneurs, because you can get on lots of those stages. And I'll share with you that there are 20,000 speaking events that will happen today. And then another 20,000 tomorrow and the day after and after. 20,000 globally. The United States has almost half of it at 7,500. I share that with you because I want you to understand, there's so much opportunity. But you speaking on podcasts, because we already discussed earlier that you do a lot of guesting, that's not considered part of that 20,000. That 20,000 is a statistic from MPI, Meeting Professional International, and they're basing that on hotel data, essentially. So there's a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of associations and professional trade groups that specifically target entrepreneurs.
Excellent.
So
tell me more.
Tell me more. So let me ask you this. Is there a specific type of entrepreneur? And the reason why I say this is because there are associations that are geared towards consultants, service-based professionals, photographers, web designers, very tech people. Is there a specific entrepreneur, or are we just going to say I work with the more general entrepreneur?
Well, when you started asking that question, the word burnout came to mind. So is there an industry that, or maybe it's medical? I used to be a nurse, being a massage therapist and wellness expert. Maybe that's an avenue because I have more experience in that I could go down. But you let me know.
Well, what would you like to speak on?
I want to speak on wellness, on self-love, on self-compassion, and also on believing in your dreams and your vision, because that's what I'm most passionate about.
Okay. What happens when an entrepreneur learns self-love?
They melt.
They melt, but they don't want to melt.
Maybe they do. Maybe it's like, when you take a breath, it's like, oh my goodness, because we go, 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 go. But it's in the silence, it's in the stillness that often the ideas come through. And there's that 20-80% rule. So it's like teaching people how to tap into that.
Okay.
We're not meant to be the doers the whole time. It's too much. I've been there myself, and it's like you're like an octopus, and then
I know,
and it's too much.
I know. Doing too much, doing, constantly doing is a habit. Is a habit that I mean, Lord knows here in the United States, that's what we're taught is to keep going, to keep working hard, etc. But when somebody learns self-love, what's the result besides melting? Because we can't really sell melting.
No, we can't sell melting.
We need to sell something
other than ice cream. What's the result? Increased self-confidence and self-worth.
What does that do?
That will give them the impetus to act on those intuitive nudges and things that they've always wanted to do, but they've been fearful of. So they'll take bigger leaps.
Okay, bigger leaps. And what will that get them?
We'll get them the results that they want. It's
What's
like
the result that they want.
Well, it's like they've been hiding away. It's what their true vision is inside of them. And together, when I do coaching, I can work out what that is with people. It's that they will know, though. It's often people will say, I don't know. And I say, well, what if you were to know? So maybe it's like to ask these people, what if you were to know, the biggest desire that your heart has, or the biggest impact that you can make on the world, what would it be? And then let's work our way back how to get that. And you can't get that if you don't feel good about yourself. You can't get that if we don't love ourselves. We get scrappy with people. We have relationships that disintegrate. We get it. It's not always pretty, and we end up mopping up messes.
Yes. So here's what I like to ask when people say the I don't know to what they want. What is it that you don't want? Yeah, I find that people have an answer for that. It's like, okay, good. Then go for the opposite.
Nice. I like it.
It's a nice way of uncovering. And I love what you're talking about, the burnout stuff, because with the self-love, I get this, that it increases confidence. It increases self-worth. It makes them take action. They'll move forward. They won't be hesitating. They're going to get to the goal, the finish line, quicker and easier and effortlessly, and they'll have a whole lot more fun. But it's hard to sell the burnout.
Okay, I get you.
It can be a little negative. That's why, like in your speech title, if you are selling the result, like an entrepreneur will be like, yeah, I am all about like, how can I take bigger, bolder steps?
Oh, so that could be a title, how to take bigger, bolder steps and fall in love with yourself and your life.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
We are leading with the buyer's language.
Yeah. And and the end result of what they want to experience.
Yes. So think about it this way, like you're a CEO of a big corporation, or you're the event organizer for a big conference that's coming up, and they see your speaking proposal come across, and it's like, like 5 ways to eliminate burnout. And they're like, okay.
I get you.
This, but then they see like how to take bigger, bolder steps. to be more productive.
For sure.
But like that would be like, ooh, this is more intriguing because there's the result. This is what you're going to get from listening to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I love it.
We always have to put our topic and also our speech titles in the language that the buyer is already using. Instead of trying to convince them, but yeah, but this talk will be great for your audience. They're looking at it as like, it's kind of a little negative, the burnout stuff. Who wants to admit that they're burnt out?
I get you. And it's funny because my books, I will talk all about languaging and it's in the positive, the affirmative. Otherwise, we're focusing on the negative. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's all right. So there you go. Check.
Thank you. I love it.
So we still have time. What else would you like to work on?
Can we come up with any other topics?
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question then. What do you love to talk about?
About being vision-led, like following those intuitive steps and trusting them.
Okay. I love that. Vision.
Doesn't it sound great when you say it like that?
It's great thought leadership too. I'm sure that like inside of that talk could have a lot of your experiences, case studies from clients, how it's helped you, what you've seen, how it changes people. Literally having a vision, knowing like where you're going. A lot of times I'll ask clients, what's your big vision for speaking? And I wait to hear what they have to say. So I'm going to ask you, Angela, this. What's your big vision for speaking?
To be on the world stage.
So that you can
share my message.
So that you can
impact lives and in a way, hopefully inspire people to live their best lives, but also help them that would help facilitate so they don't necessarily have to go through what I've gone through.
I knew that there was a story behind this. I was just going to ask you, something had to happen to you for you to come on your spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
And you are so much happier on this path than you were on the other path.
Yeah. It was like there was no choice for me. It was like, life, sometimes you feel battered. It's just like one knock after the other. And as I said on another podcast the other day, we're the common denominator in our lives. And so therefore, that's not to blame ourselves or shame ourselves, but it's to make decisions and choices so that they have the greatest impact on our lives, so that we do put ourselves first and in a way that elevates us, and then our influence grows.
Yes. I mean, you're speaking my language. I believe that all of that battered feeling is the universe trying to like, this isn't the right path for you. Okay. I've been trying to tell you to take a right. You just won't take a right. So I have to keep beating you up until you finally take the right.
Exactly.
Or finally,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's a choice. So it's not even necessarily take that step. But I think once you decide that how it's going to be, then everything else just aligns anyway. So then there's no more choice. It's just that's in front of me. That's the step that I take today. And that comes back to being vision-led and intuitive-led.
I call that like following the breadcrumbs.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what I believe the universe does for us. They put little breadcrumbs. This breadcrumb may not make sense right here, right now, but it will later. It's the accumulation of those little breadcrumbs, those baby steps in the right direction.
Absolutely. And that's why we need the daily reminders. Yes. And so, and that, like another avenue that I could speak to is my Stepping into Love series and work through that, because I always say to people, open at any page and there's a message for you. And so far it has been right on point. So it's a book that can be read a paragraph at a time if you think that you're poor, time poor. And so, yeah, that could inspire people as well.
Yeah. Yes. This is great. So do you feel like you got something?
Oh, absolutely. That's fantastic. I'd love to know if I can ask you one more thing. So me being in New Zealand, Do you feel I feel I'd love to speak overseas. So can that happen online, or is it better to have feet on the ground like in the States?
No, you can do both. But a great way to build up your speaking reputation, especially if you want to come over to the United States and start speaking, is actually to speak virtually, because it will be very appealing for a meeting planner like, hey, I can speak to your organization virtually. It's not uncommon for them to have in-person speakers, but also to have a virtual audience, and they can have virtual speakers as well. So it's a great way to build up, the different speaker assets that you're going to need, like different people that you've worked with, to do it virtually. And then get to a point where it's like they may say, we want you in person. We want you here on our stage.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Yeah, get that experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So will you share with everybody 1 or 2 gold nuggets that you are walking away with today?
I'm walking away with a clear, definitive name for my speech.
Nice.
And I'm also walking away with the confirmation that I'm on the right track, in the right place, doing the right thing. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's awesome. This makes me so happy. So will you tell everybody where they can find you, where they can learn from you, and even follow you?
Absolutely. So my handle on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is AngelaMSmith.author. I'm also on LinkedIn, and my website is truepotential.co.nz, or truepotential.co.nz, as you would say in your part of the world.
Thank you. Yes. And make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay, Angela?
Absolutely. Will do.
Wonderful. This has been a great session. As you can see, it only takes a short period of time to get something very tangible. And now you've got some direction, where to move towards, and you've got a great speech title.
Amazing. Thank you. You're amazing.
You're welcome. Are you tired of hearing crickets on social media? Wondering where to get seen by the right people? Or frustrated with the growth of your business? Then the Speaker Breakthrough Session is just for you. During this free 20-minute discovery call, I'll help you recognize where you're leaving money and opportunity on the table. You'll walk away with tips and a strategy to leverage speaking opportunities to get positioned as the expert, visible to the right people, and monetize your expertise. Book your call at speakandstandout.com/SBS for Speaker Breakthrough Session.